Start with the approval of the December meeting minutes, which are attached. We had no meeting in February, so the, I believe it's the January.
Where are we?
The January minutes. Instead of the December minutes, it's the January meeting minutes. Someone make a motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
I make a motion.
Second.
Minutes are approved. Any revisions to the agenda? If not, we'll move forward. Carl is not here this evening. He called me today. He was in the hospital for a couple of days for some procedures. He's feeling much better, and hopefully he'll be able to join us at the next meeting. I know that Carl, we're still progressing with the piece of the property that we're currently trying to purchase, the ferry trail extension and the Wright Woods. So we're still in the negotiation stage with those two pieces of property. Bert, is there anything to report for the Conservancy?
Okay, so the Conservancy has a number of issues. Last October, the Grosseal Township Board passed Ordinance Chapter 99, which bans the use of coal tar sealants on driveways and parking lots in the city, in the township. And so the Conservancy is working on the communication of that to residents and businesses. So that is something that was done to protect human health and the environment, and we're real excited about that. This is the 25th year that the Conservancy has been in existence, and we're celebrating 25 years of protecting the environment and educating people about our natural resources. So we're planning an Earth Day event on Sunday, April 22nd, on Earth Day at Centennial Farm. And we are also planning a May 12th dinner celebration for members, and we're certainly welcoming new members as well as longtime members to that. And that's about it.
Thank you very much. Leah is not here, so I will be waiting for a written report on the Recreation Committee. Pam, beautification?
The only report I have is that we didn't meet in January and February, but we are meeting tomorrow. So we'll start up our plans for planting flowers at Four Corners and at the entranceway to the island.
Thank you very much. Nothing to report from the Bike Path Commission. If I get any information from the Bike Path Commission, I'll be forwarding that to you. There's nobody here tonight, so we'll eliminate the public comments. The ferry trail issue, Bert, we were still trying to get somebody from the school to act as more as a liaison to the school system. And any progress on that at all?
I had an email conversation with Emily Walsh, who is the president of the Grosseal High School Environmental Awareness Club, and I expressed again our interest in having a liaison from the schools. So she was going to talk with her committee members and see who might be interested, and they have been doing some successful things there. They instituted a program to collect the foam trays that are used in the cafeteria and store them for eventual recycling. And I told her about your effort, Pam, to get a downriver storage facility or something, and you can kind of fill us in on what's happening with that. But I said that, they're definitely interested. On the Conservancy's part, and Pam Frucci is spearheading that effort to find someplace downriver that will collect and recycle styrofoam.
Did she make any effort? Did she indicate that she was looking for somebody to represent the schools on our committee?
Mm-hmm. She did, she's supposed to get back to me. She hasn't gotten back to me. But she mentioned either herself or another person on the committee. And she also said that they're looking at doing some composting in the cafeteria. So that would be a great thing.
Let's see if we can get some movement on that. As you can see, we're getting short of members, so I think
Right.
have to get as many hands as we can. So if you can maybe give her a call this week if you could.
I'll reach out to her again.
And let me know, okay? Okay, thank you. Woody, how are we coming on the welcome letters?
Letter 17 last month, 4 this month.
17 last month, 4 today. Okay. Okay. Do you have enough pamphlets and letters and so forth?
I got enough junk. Yeah, I got enough.
Okay. Okay. Thanks. Oh, I can see that Leah has just arrived. I'll give her a couple of minutes to come on up to the podium and tell us what's happening with the Recreation Department.
A whole bunch of stuff. I am electronically challenged and my printer doesn't print, so I have to open my computer so I can read it.
Okay.
I'll send it to you so you
Okay, good.
Can't you tell us?
Yeah, she's going to tell us. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want it. I have been ill since Super Bowl Sunday.
Oh my
so
gosh.
You can hear the remnants of it.
Yeah.
The national statistic. Okay, ready?
Yes.
I want you to be alert for a new channels publication in the near future called Profile GIAC Goziel. It will be more than just community rec programs, so be alert that you guys might have something you want to get in there. It saves us some money, and it will come out 4 times a year, seasonally. So we're excited about that. And in terms of activities, just a couple of updates. Unfortunately, we had to cancel the first Winterfest, but we saved the sign, and we rescheduled all the entertainment, and so we're going to try again next year.
Okay.
Golf leagues are signing up, so contact Recreation for that. The contracts for the marina slips have been sent to the boaters. Sunrise Park is finalizing a shared parking plan with the Historical Society. We're pretty thrilled about that. Let me see what else. Oh, Easter egg hunt event, March 24 at Centennial Farm, 9 o'clock, $5 per child. March 14, the annual St. Patrick's Senior Luncheon at Centennial Farm Recreation Hall, $10 advance registration only. And then there are lots of other programs, and just check your current channels for that. Groseal will be hosting, I think, pickleball for the Senior Olympics this year. So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
And then we are going to be a new group. There are 3 of us who our terms are up, and 2 of us are not renewing. And we're not sure about one. And then we had 2 openings. So it will be a new community rec board very shortly. Interviews are set up for this week, so we'll be participating in that. And then I just found out today that our wonderful Kim O'Farrell is an expert on forestry. When you'll like this, Pat, when she was at her job in Ohio, they had 30 separate parks.
Wow.
And so she is very anxious to work with this group. Like I have always been concerned about the safety of the trails in terms of falling wood, et cetera, et cetera. She's very concerned about that and very much hopes to work very closely with you and the other groups on that. I think that's exciting to know that about her. She's just full of surprises. So anything from you guys that you want me to, I'm going to be talking to people about Dump the Junk, at my various groups, how they feel about that, and I'll get back to you on it. So I may be here in April for my final farewell, I don't know, and introduce the new liaison.
What's her name again? I'm sorry, I didn't.
Kim O'Farrell.
Okay.
Yeah, and I told her you were a good guy, and I told her about our trip through all the open spaces, and she totally believes in open spaces now that she understands what it is.
She's a member of your committee?
She's
On the
the
commission?
director.
Boss.
She's director.
Director.
Oh, okay.
Really great. So get to know her, Cliff, because she's really, really wonderful. Her daughter is doing very well in school, has made friends already. So
Hey, I'll make it a point to see if I can reach out
yeah,
to her.
reach out to her because I just see, and especially with Pat and I doing the check on the trees, and you and I walking through all the parks years ago. She's just a welcome. She's just going to be wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it for me, and I will have to leave shortly because I've got another meeting.
Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, I'm always
Appreciate
glad
it.
to drop by.
Okay. Okay. Okay, the next item on the agenda is a 5-year plan. I recently put together a draft copy of a 5-year plan for the Open Space Committee, and I haven't done anything with it yet. I think all of you have copies of it. If you have any comments or changes or revisions, let me know. What I plan to do, I think what I'd like to do is to give a copy to Carl Bletcher. I think he has a copy, and have him present it to the Township Board for their comments and for their support. In the 5-year plan, the success of this plan is contingent upon the support of the Township Board. So I want them to have a chance to review it and to buy into it. But first of all, taking first things first, if any of you have any comments on the plan that's submitted to you, give me a call. If you say everything is fine, let me know that too, so that I can then formally present it to the Township Board.
So,
Did I give
so
you the-
Cliff, I
Yeah, I have it here. I'm questioning, are we actually seeking an additional millage to raise $2 million?
That's part of, not actively, no.
Oh.
That's one. No, we're not doing that yet.
Ah.
Okay. So what I'm saying is that seeking a millage proposals have to be made by the Township Board.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a 5-year plan, that may be 5 or 6 years out. I don't know whether the township would even want to consider it, but that's the reason for giving it to them.
Ah.
Okay. So if there's any other comments, Pam, just write it, just send me a note and I'll include them, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Cliff, I would just add, I think that's a good idea to have it in the 5-year plan because I know open space is very important to a lot of people on this island, but we also have people who don't think it's that important. And so I think having it in there as something down the road is an excellent idea. But I'll get back to you with more.
Yeah, let me make one thing clear. This is a draft so far. It's got to be presented, it's got to be approved by the committee, and then it's got to be presented to the Township Board for their support. Okay. Thank you. All right, moving along to the action items, the Dump the Junk program for 2018. Daryl is not here. He's down in North Carolina. I know Woody has some comments on it, but Pat, do you have any?
Yes, I've been in communication with Daryl, and we've come up with options that we think are viable, depending on how the committee wishes to go. The first option, of course, is to eliminate it because it is becoming very costly, and especially if we take on the ferry trail and expand with the right trail stuff, that will be really using money quickly that Dump the Junk would be taking stewardship away from. So that's one option. The other option is to have it one day only and plan on having it in the fall in conjunction with Wayne County's hazardous waste eliminate, because that way we just hand them the paper, say, no, we don't take that, go there. And it seems to make the people feel good. So we're willing to put it on for one day if the committee feels that it is worthwhile carrying on.
I'd like to have some comments, starting off with and including yourself, Pam, of course. Bert?
I think it's a good idea to do it once to reduce it. I think people have come to expect it and appreciate it. I think we do need to beat the bushes to get more volunteer support for that. And there ought to be enough people, on this island that use it to, actually put some time into it.
Well, I agree with Bert. It's a service, and people use it, and but I don't want to totally eliminate it because they probably still have stored material that we don't want dumped in the open space, and this service prevents that from happening. And so I would at least, if we can do it one day a year. I had thought that it was going to be in the spring, but Pat, you're recommending a fall.
Well, that's because of when Wayne County has their hazardous, right? You said it was in October?
I think October.
Yes, October.
Actually, Wayne County has several household hazardous waste days, and I can look that up because they have them.
One is in October, the one on North Line at the community center, Wayne County Community College. That's the closest.
Right.
One is in Dearborn on Evergreen, and I don't know where the other one is, but they're not local.
All right. That's the reason you chose October, is because...
Yes, because Woody had sent that information to us.
Woody, do you have any comments?
Yeah, I don't want to do it.
Okay. Okay.
There's nobody comes. There's only a couple people, and I'm not going to be there all day. So you guys run it yourself, and fine. I'm out.
Okay. You have a preference for October?
Yes, because of the hazardous material being so close. The thing is, if we try to get people to recycle, you have to offer them something that is convenient to get rid of their goods. And if we have it on a day that Wayne County is having it, and you end up losing half a day just trying to get rid of your hazardous waste, people will find inventive ways of getting rid of it more easily.
So you should have the day before, or the day after.
What?
You should have it the day after, because they usually do it on a Saturday. You're going to have to do it on a Sunday, because that'll be the day after.
But they won't know about it.
They're going to have to look at the paper or look at something.
If we have it on the same day, they come in with stuff already in their car that they want to get rid of. We say, no, we can't take it. Here's where you can go right now.
I understand that, but a lot of people won't drive at that day. I'm just saying, they come in at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, they're already closed.
Well, that's true.
They run from 8 to 2. If the people don't get here till, say, 10, 11, 12 o'clock, they won't go up there.
Well, what do you folks think of that option?
I think if it's if we have it the same day, and let's say they have theirs from 8 till 2.
That's a Saturday.
8 to 2.
I don't think we can have it on a Friday.
I agree. It has to, I think it would have to be on a Saturday, and if they come in, it all depends on how well publicized both events are. If they're well publicized and everybody gets the word, even maybe on the signs that we have, is that, look, we're going to dump the junk on, let's say, October such and such, whatever day it is. From 8 till 2, the hazardous waste is at this location, and then our event will be, let's say, from 8 to 5. So
Okay.
if it's very well publicized, and if we want to have it the same day, they load their stuff in the car, and then they can go to both places the
Should have
same
it a
day.
week before. Should have it a week before.
Week before?
That way they'll know, you hand out the notice
Oh, that's an
the
idea.
week
Yeah, that's,
before.
okay.
And then they're gonna say, well, we didn't know about it. Well, you got it in your hand.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Woody.
I think so too, yeah. Thinking about it, I think,
And we have talked, Daryl and I, and we will have signs made up saying residency identification required.
and also, if we go to the township board during subsequent, maybe in the August meeting or the September meeting, and say, we need, let's say, 9 volunteers,
Good luck.
okay? And instead of just relying on members of this committee, get 9 volunteers, and I know it's going to be a stretch, Woody, but if we still want to have it, we can't have people like yourself or the people sitting here working 4, 5, 6 hours a day, both Saturday and Sunday, trying to administer this thing. It's got to be spread out.
Well, we can give it a shot one more year and see how it goes.
All right, having said that, let's want to put that in the form of a motion, Pat.
Okay. I move that we have the dump the junk, what do you call it, in treasures?
Find a treasure.
Dump the junk and find the treasure.
Yeah.
In October of this year, and it's held 1 week before the Wayne County hazardous material collection. It will be for 1 day from 9 till 5.
Oh, look at me.
9 to 5.
Look at you. Look at get a
Okay.
beer.
9 to 5. Okay. Would you want it earlier than that, or is 9 to 5 sufficient? I think 9 to 5.
9 to 5. That would be good.
Is there I'm sorry, Pat, didn't mean to cut you off. Is there anything
No,
else?
we need a second.
Need a second?
Bert, that was you.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Hey,
Motion carried. All right, the dump the junk will be in October on Saturday.
Yep.
1 week before,
So that would be 1 week before October 20th, on a
is that what that date
Saturday.
is?
That's what you sent me.
Hazardous waste, hazard,
October 20th.
October 20th? is
That's
Saturday?
theirs.
So that'll be set back up 7 days. That's October 14th, right?
13th.
13th. Okay, we got to get word to Donna Deppa that we're going to have it at that date, and it's going to be one event. And we'll
Okay.
see how this goes.
We only got 6 months to get it.
Well, at least we're tying it into the hazardous waste
Hey, you
program.
better, because you know how these people on this island are.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't tell me. Oh, you didn't tell me.
Well, we'll have to spread the word out. We'll have to do it both electronically and
Yep.
with the signboards. And I think the signboards are probably just as effective as anything else. Okay.
Oh, yeah, one thing. Shut off is a half hour before you want to shut off. That way
Gate-
you're not here till
We can
6
say
o'clock at
gates
night.
close at 4:30. How's that?
Okay.
Close at 4:30 and then you get out of here at 5. Because if you don't, you're going to get out of here at 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Okay. All right.
I got checked.
Right.
Okay. Okay. So we got that behind us. The next item is a surveillance program for the trails. And I don't know who wants to take this on, but we have had some instances where there has been dumping on the trails, where some of the signs have been damaged, And I'm just wondering if we should consider some sort of a surveillance program, maybe with cameras on some of the trails to protect the citizens as they walk through the trails, and to provide means by which those that would like to think or considering damaging the trails or damage the signs could be easily apprehended. And I'd like to have somebody possibly meet with our chief of police to see exactly what type of surveillance program, if any, might be practical for that use. Instead of just throwing it over the fence to say the police have got to enforce it, get their thoughts and their ideas that if we'd had a surveillance program, what type would be effective, how much would it cost, and who would maintain it. And I'm looking for somebody to maybe meet with Joe Postorelli, chief of police.
Yeah, well.
I already met with him once on my trail.
I'm all right, okay.
Now, what's interesting is the DNR was having some kind of a contest. And when they said free gift, of course, I entered it. But the free gift was a trail camera. So I've been looking up trail cameras in case I win it. You know, I want to know what I'm going to win.
Okay.
And they are pretty neat.
Pretty expensive.
They range in prices.
Yeah.
But again, if you go into that, you have to work out with the police whose responsibility is and all that. But Joe and I had talked about surveillance cameras. The chief.
Joe. Okay.
Joe, yeah. And so we have already broached that may be something we have to do.
It may be prohibitively expensive,
Yeah.
possibly, but
Yeah.
in order for it to be effective, we have to do, first of all, what type of camera or what type of
Right.
system would we need? Who's going to monitor it? Okay, and once it's monitored and people are, say, misdeeds are recorded, and then the police department would then try to apprehend those people. And that's also for the safety of the people who are walking these trails. In today's world, it's almost it's advisable that if you have a nice trail and walking through the woods, that you have some sort of a idea that you're going to be protected. So if you could meet with Joe and come up with a proposal, that'll be fine. Thank you, Pat.
I was going to go and talk to him anyway about my
Please,
trail.
yeah.
So the Conservancy has a trail cam that we use. We've been monitoring the beavers over at the airport.
Oh, okay.
And it's very effective. I mean, it's a lot of fun to see what's going on there. You know, in the middle of the night, there's a lot of activity between minks and raccoons and muskrats and beavers. And during the day, there's the herons and everything. The thing is, so one camera costs somewhere around $200. The big issue is who monitors it. You know, they run through batteries and stuff. So unless the police are willing to, you know, check on it every couple days and review what they see, that's a big issue. And then the other thing is, when you have a well-used trail and you have a lot of people that use it, then they become, you know, the eyes in the area. And really you don't, you know, if it's used enough, then you really don't need that kind of surveillance, you know, because, I mean, that's part of placemaking, you know, making places attractive and usable and getting people out and using them. And, you know, it's well documented that vandalism drops and things like that. So I think there is a lot of vandalism on Grosse Ile for whatever reason, but I don't think we should overemphasize and really exaggerate this whole safety thing and getting into this thing about surveillance. Like we need the police around every corner.
Well, Cliff, where have the instances been? Which trails? I mean,
Well,
I had some on mine. That's why I was in talking to them.
Yeah, that's what I was concerned about. Now, let me maybe clarify my opening remarks. I'm not. I talked about a surveillance system. We may conclude that maybe it's not worth the money to spend on it, and maybe there's other ways to do it. If that's what you, after you meet with Joe, and maybe talk to the Conservancy, you may say, look, there's going to be, this is what it would take. It's far too expensive, it's ineffective, and it's not practical. Now, if that's going to be your final report, if it is, then so be it, you know. But I think that's something that maybe we should try to address.
Now, Bert, when they leave that area by the airport open 24/7, has vandalism increased or?
Well, actually, the airport property is closed, and that's only open on Sundays from May through October when the Conservancy people are hosting it. The rest of the property, the actual refuge, that's open. There was a lot of vandalism at first, and it seems like that has dropped down a little bit, and maybe just partly because of the weather. You know, the fence that was put up that was messed around with the kiosk had some vandalism there. So, but we do know that teenagers are doing a lot of drinking there during the warm weather, because on Mondays when the Conservancy crew is out there doing stewardship, they always find beer cans. So we don't think it's the police.
But that's more litter than vandalism, I think.
Right. So vandalism seems to have decreased. There's been vandalism at Sunrise Park as well.
Well, Sunrise Park seems to really, for some reason, attract vandalism.
It's a small space, and it's too small for the needs of the township when you get right down to it.
Okay.
So,
Well,
but I mean, I think if we identify certain places where vandalism happens, like if
That's
there's
what
a
I was
certain
thinking.
spot,
Just pick an area that has high vandalism and start monitoring it. Because I believe in back over by the post office, that playground. Now I know they have vandalism problems, but maybe the township has already addressed those, and we could see what they're doing. Pam?
Yeah, it's the Kiwanis has been taking care of it and cleaning it up and painting and trying to keep it safe for kids to play in. And there was some vandalism, and we worked it out with the police that they put surveillance cameras there.
Oh, they did.
We had fake ones at first, just
And who
to
monitors
deter
them?
vandalism, but then we have the real surveillance cameras.
Who
mounted
monitors them?
there. The police.
And who paid for the cameras?
I think the police department did, but Joe would have that information.
I think the thing that we should want to consider is, to what extent does this vandalism occur, and is it worth the time and effort to put a surveillance system in, and would it be effective, and would the cost be so prohibitive that we'd have to take some other means? But I think what we will, as a committee, what we want to do is, if somebody raises a question, to say, yeah, we've taken a real good look at it, this is what we found, and this is what needs to be done. So thanks for taking that on. I think it was just a simple meeting with Joe, and kick the thing around and come up with some idea. I'm sure the chief of police is very familiar with the issue and can give us the advice and counsel that we need to curtail it. The thing I don't want to do is I don't want to, as I say, throw it over the fence to them and say, well, it's your problem.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Okay, the last item is meeting frequencies. As you know, we have monthly meetings starting in September. We usually eliminate we don't have a meeting in December because of the Christmas holidays, but we have monthly meetings that run from, let's say, from September through the June of the next year. And most of our meetings are productive, but I'm just wondering if we should take a look at maybe reducing the number of meetings so that it'd be less intrusive on our personal lives, about instead of trying to go to a meeting each month. Some meetings are better than others, and that there's issues that have to be discussed. And I'd like to maybe throw it open for discussion to see if it would be better to have meetings on an alternating monthly basis or schedule meetings on a monthly basis, and if there's nothing important to discuss, we merely cancel that particular meeting. So I'd like to open it up for discussion. Woody, what do you think?
Every other month, to be honest.
Okay.
And if we open it up every other month, and that day that we really don't have anything anyway, we just skip it and go to the next month.
Pat?
I'm sitting here, I had asked you before, and I don't know if I got an answer. Is there anything in our charter or mission that says we should meet X number of months a year?
In the document, I did check with our township administrators today on this very issue, and they said if you want to go to alternating months, that action would have to be ultimately approved by the township board. Because right now, our meetings are scheduled every month, except for the 3 months in the summer, and the Christmas, and the one in December. And that's stated in our bylaws. Mm-hmm. So if we want to change that, we would have to get approval of the township board. So that's what it would require.
Well, if we went every other month, how many meetings would we actually be?
I would say we should.
Or would it be the same thing, basically?
No.
I mean, as it is, there's 4 that we don't do. December and 3 in the summer.
Let's see. July and August, I think. Do we have a meeting in June? I think we have the meeting in June. We have none in July, none in August, and none in December. So there's 3 meetings that we don't have. So it's 9 months out of the year.
Well, I think every other would be good.
Bert?
I think alternate months is fine.
Pam, you officially don't have a vote on this, but what do you think? As just an attendee.
Well, I think every other month would work unless we have something crucial that comes up that we need to make a decision on, and then you could call a meeting in the month that we may have skipped if we go alternate months.
Yeah. All right.
But as chair, you would know if there was something important coming up. That
if something comes up, I can either communicate directly like we always do. If something crucial comes up, we usually notify each other by email. Mm-hmm. And if we have to have a special meeting to resolve this issue or to get direction on how to resolve it, we can always schedule it. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it appears to me that with people present tonight that we should do it on a bi-monthly basis, every other month. So I'll notify the township board to consider this. Now, the issue will come up, would we still, if we do that, would we still have a meeting? Does that mean that we would have one meeting in the summer If we had, say, if we have a June meeting, we would have an August meeting as well.
Oh. Why do we do that? You're gonna be off, you said June, July, and August. And then do what?
No, we have, excuse, I was corrected myself. We have a meeting in June, and then we're off July and August. So it's two months in the summertime.
Gives you plenty of time in well, you know what dates you're gonna have dump the junk, so this September is, you could talk about what you're gonna do, before dump the junk. Because you're having it in October.
When would we start this? Would we want to start it in the fall?
Start what?
An alternate, if I go to the township board and ask permission to have meetings on an alternating monthly basis, when would we start this program? Would we want to start it next month, or would we want to start it the fall?
We start it next month, then we skip what month?
We would skip April,
And we go May, and then we'd be off June.
then we'd be off in August, and we'd be off in October.
Yeah.
Dump the junk, we wouldn't be there, and we'd be off in December. And if you have dump the junk in October, I think you would want to have a meeting, and you would want to have a meeting in September to make sure that everything was in place for the event. So if you look at this going every other one, having dumped the junk in October is not a good idea.
Well, you gotta be in October.
Well, that's what I mean, but if you go every other month,
Well, you know,
We could have a meeting in August, skip September, have one in October, one in December, one in February, one in April.
August, you'd have to decide what day you're going to, or for the dump the junk. Prior to, you gotta know prior to.
Well,
and then what months do you want to make sure that we meet in order to look at your budget and your objectives and your final report?
I think I'm going to change my opinion and say that we stick with our schedule so we don't have to get approval to change it from the board. And then just on a month-by-month basis, if there's nothing pressing, then we cancel the meeting. We can inform people through
That's a better way.
Connect.
I think it is a better way, especially with our liaisons also. A lot of people have so many commitments, and you get to the point where some are off and some are on, and people get confused, and you might have even less attendance.
Okay. So I think what you're saying here is that leave it the same, and then if we feel, say towards the end of this meeting, for sake of argument, if we want to eliminate, let's say the April meeting, we can eliminate the April meeting, but we do it on an we're having it on a monthly basis. And then if there's nothing urgent to discuss at a specific meeting, then we can cancel that meeting.
Yep.
So what you're saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
Leave it the same as it is. Okay.
Good.
I don't think we need a vote on that.
No, because we're not changing anything.
Not changing it.
All we
Okay.
did was discuss
So
it.
we're going to leave it the same as it is.
Yep.
But we'll take we're not going to have a meeting strictly because, well, it's April, we have to have a meeting. If there's nothing to discuss, we won't discuss it. We won't have a meeting.
That's good.
And
That's
of course, if something comes up on an emergency basis, we can always reach each other via email. Okay.
A comment, Cliff. How about our crew, our cable crew? They would have to be notified if we're going to.
Yeah,
Oh, yes, that
Yeah.
goes without saying.
appropriate.
So bottom line is,
Have to post it and
it has
all
to be.
that other good stuff.
So we're going to leave it the same.
You have their numbers?
And if we're going to, if we decide not to have a meeting, I'll notify the township administrator, and with instructions to notify the Ted Fournier and the cable people. Okay? And that's basically what we do now. Okay.
It seems to be working.
It seems to be working. Okay, good. I can live with that very easily. All right, are there any other topics that we should bring up tonight? I'll start down at the end of the table.
Nothing.
Pat?
Nope, nothing.
Bert?
No, I think I'm done.
Okay. Pat?
And I'll just follow up on what Bert had mentioned about possibilities of foam recycling be reinstated. We used to do it here about 3 years ago, and then they quit offering that service. But I've talked to the mayor in Gibraltar, and he said that Gibraltar will probably reinstate a drop-off center for their residents, and he would include foam as material that people could bring in.
You mean if you have an old phone, you can bring it in?
Foam.
Oh, phone.
Styrofoam.
Phone.
I thought he was talking about foam.
Oh, no.
Phone.
Styrofoam.
Styrofoam.
F-O-A-M.
Foam. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yes.
That waste product that just gets dumped in a landfill.
Okay.
But he hasn't gotten back to me on if he's working on his council to approve it.
Okay.
And it would be right there at their government headquarters where they have the DPS is there, and the citizens, he tells me, have been asking to have another drop-off center. Okay. And it's pending, but nothing is concrete yet.
All right. I have nothing. Look for a motion to adjourn then.
Adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned.
Anybody
Thank you.
opposed?